Hello. I know I didn't even announce. I just showed up. That's what I do. I just show up. Oh, so let's get on to Instagram and go from there.
Doesn't matter. Chris
Mm,
Paul, Cliff Paul, Jake.
Let's just hold on. Choop, boop, ba-doop, boop, 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 boop. Here I am. There we go. Is anybody coming on? Man, so much. I mean, wow. Wow. That's what I'm going to say is wow. There's just so much going on. Number one, I just want to let people know that if I'm going to be doing some meditations in a little bit, and I'm going to be sending out the new meditations for the next 21 days. If you have signed up for it, you will receive them in your inbox. If you have not signed up for them and you want them, just let me know. Okay. And you'll receive them. All right. So if you want the next 21 days, let me know because I'm going to be sending them out within the next couple hours, and they're going to have the next 7 day, next I'm going to say 4 days of meditations for you. So you got to let me know if you want the next 21 days because I'm sending them out. If you sit there, I know some of you are like, well, I thought I told you. Well, no, you didn't tell me. I have a couple people that have told me they've sent me the $88 and they're going to be getting the next 21 days. I have broken everything down into themes for the next 21 days, and I am so excited. I've worked hard on this shit, man. Um, so the week one, cultivating divine presence. So it's like we're going into a little bit deeper when it comes to a lot of the frequencies. And one of the reasons why I have broken these up into sort of themes aligning with the divine will and embodying divine radiance. And each day is sort of broken down with either doing a meditation, breath work, seeing the sacred in the ordinary, adding music into this as well, having people bring in, you want to light a candle. So adding a little bit more into the meditations. And you're going to find, I mean, we're going to be having the solar eclipse next Saturday. You're going to find that the intensity of the world it's just going to get crazier. We have, if they call for the election on Sunday, everybody's saying they are. Okay, let's see what happens. It's just feels, I mean, so I've been told by a source that um she's been told to be ready because they are going to be needing to bring out more more police presence with calling of the election. You think things are crazy in the states, and I know there's a lot of things going on in the states when it comes to we're seeing like revolutionary energy, and it's very similar to what happened during their revolution in the United States. And here in Canada, there is a divide between um the right and the left, right? And a divide in common sense. A huge divide in common sense. So the change and the frequencies that are coming in are very powerful, are very transformational. We are going to be having and I got bribery a lot. And the thing is the one thing about, Neptune coming into Aries, which is going to be on March 30th, is yeah, there's going to be some huge change that's going to happen in the world. We're going to be witnessing a lot of division within the world. And I know many of you, my beautiful followers, are like, "Well, I don't believe in the divide, and I don't." But it's very similar to what happened during 2020, and during that time there was a division. But this is going to be a lot heavier and more in the face. And the reason for the divide, the reason why things have to is to give clarity, to give sight, so people can actually say, "Holy shit, is that really what you're thinking?" Just listening to some of the people on about the Teslas. I mean, okay, don't buy a Tesla. Teslas are bad. I mean, just because of the lithium batteries and stuff and the electrical and blah blah blah. And when they don't work anymore on the disposal and things like that. So there's a lot of things, the reasons why not to buy it. The number one reason shouldn't be Elon Musk. I don't like it because I mean, Volkswagen just came out with a new van, which is totally electric. Um, Ford has electric vehicles. We have BMW just came out with one. Volvo has one. I mean, they all have their own version of electrical vehicles. But there's a reason why, and they're more if you're looking at the truth of the environmental reasons of why you shouldn't be buying something electrical at this time, because we don't have all of that technology to really work on the disposal because of the lithium batteries in that scenario as it is. But I mean, people are looking at trying to find a reason and trying to find something that a person that they can hate. So trying to find hate in some way. And this is where especially coming into Aries season. I'm so happy we're in Aries season. The Pisces season was hell. I felt it was hell. I felt it was it within my own, even though I am like a water sign, Piscean energy is it's what am I gonna say? It's difficult to grasp at many times because it is aloof. Now, a lot of the Pisceans that I know, some Pisceans I know have, their Piscean energy, but then they have strong fire energy, which is very interesting, or a lot of energy within their chart as well. So it kind of balances out where they're not so aloof, but yet there is a very spiritual side to them, a very mystical energy that is around them. And the other thing that especially with this energy that just came through with the Piscean energy, is a lot of changes in people's nervous system, and how your nervous system is connecting. And for some, it could be where you didn't pick up that much, like it's almost like you weren't picking up a lot of the frequencies or the energies, and now you're picking up on everything, kind of thing. And that could be also where you shut it down for so long, so there is that sort of breakthrough, things breaking through. So we have that, and the energies of Aries is bringing in more enlightenment, more understanding. Now, we just had what's happening with the pyramids and the information of what's going on with the pyramids. Edgar Casey, love him or hate him, had a vision about when they find these cylinders at the bottom of the Giza pyramid. Like, he talked about it, it was a prediction. So he did a prediction about that. So when they are found, this is going to be when the earth, the world is put through this new transformation, the changes that are coming. So there has been a lot of predictions about findings at this time, how things are going to be transformed, and how we are going to be putting forth into this new age. Now, we look around our world and we look around maybe our home and we're like, "Oh, well, I don't see any changes. Like, my life is totally not changed." Yet, how many of you have a cell phone? How many of you have computers in your house? What kind of TV do you have? Do you have a flat screen TV? Is your TV an HD TV, or are you still on the TV with the bunny ears? Change happens, but it's happening. It's like these little increments that go on. I mean, we have iPhone comes out with a new iPhone every year, or every 6 months. So does Samsung. So do all of the other uh, phone companies that are out there with the technology. Now they have come out with a computer, and it's it's a little bigger than this, and it's has all the capability of all the new AI. and AI technology with it. Very interesting in how it works. I don't know how it works. I'm not up on that, but it's going for like $3,000, which is very interesting, and with the capabilities with it. And I believe it might hook on to the computer. I'm not sure exactly how it works. Anyways, it's very cool. And it would have been, say, a year ago or so, over $10,000, $15,000 to have that type of capability coming into your home. So if we are seeing that stepping um, into the world right now, we're going to be finding that capability is going to be like a TV in your house, like a cell phone that you carry. How many of you have smartwatches? Smartwatches now can take your heart rate, can take your blood pressure, can tell you, oh, you haven't moved enough today. That's why I don't wear one. um, this is where very similar to when years ago, when I started, this is back in 2010. It's so long ago. And I started the Journey Club, and about ideas and ideas being spewed out and people talking about these ideas, where this one, and he's from the States, had an idea, and his idea was to have microchips in the toilet. And everybody's like, oh, well, you can't have a microchip in the toilet. It's water, blah, blah. And he says, no, my thing is to have a microchip in the toilet. And it was because his mother had cancer, and that every day her pH changed. Now, when you go for chemo, it's kind of like a hit and miss on how much they're going to give you because they don't know, right? He was saying that because of your pH balance of when you pee in the morning, it's going to tell you what you need for that day or what is missing in your diet or the vitamins and minerals and everything else. And that's going to help with the dosages if you are on chemo or if you are needing any other medication, whether to increase or decrease or just keep it the same. And then that information would go up, and it's like funny because we have smart refrigerators now, where the refrigerator will tell you how much um, of food you have left in your fridge. And start a shopping list. And he goes, that would have like sort of like you go to your smart screen TV or whatever, but he said the fridge, because your fridge is going to monitor what the food that you need to take in. So it'll tell you when you go to the fridge, you need to have alkaline water, you need to eat, blueberries, so many blueberries today or whatever it is, right? So it'll tell you this is what you need in your diet today. Then that information would go to your doctor's office electronically. So then your doctor would get a report, okay, this is what's happening with Mrs. B today. She is needing blah 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 blah. That shit is happening now. That was 15 years ago when he was talking about it. But they have shit like that out there now. And it's so transformational where this information, just your pee in the morning, your first pee in the morning, tells so much about your body and what it is needing for the day. Crazy. Just our bodies are wonderful things. It tells us so much. Why am I bringing this all up? Because all of this, as we're going in, of all of the information where things have happened, as I said, over a period of time, a longer period of time, where things like when they talked about the Black Plague. So Notre Dame is talking about the Black Plague and things to do with the Black Plague and how, things are going to get better. And that was in like 15, 20 years. Now it's like, bang. It's not 15, 20 years. It's within a year. That's why this year is this intensity of the crazy, of the carnage, of it all. And we start off on this astrological new year, which was spring, and bringing in this newness, bringing in this transformation of light that's coming in. And in that has us rewiring our nervous system. So especially each time is these outer planets, which represent our consciousness, our that that's moving into these new signs. Pluto was the first coming into that air sign, coming into that knowledge, right? Aquarius is about knowledge. It's a scientific brain, bringing in new ideas, rooting up things that may have not been around before or have been hidden from us, hence the pyramids. Things coming in, new ideas coming in. And it's, if you look at the Aquarius sign, it's waves, right? It's waves. So it's very electrical. Electrical current is coming in. Pluto is the rooter. He's going to root out things that are smelly, gross, that we don't want to talk about. We don't want to um inquire about, but it's coming out. It has to come out. It has to, this carnage has to come in, and we have to step forward within our faith and within our trust in a higher self. This is where, and I love it because more astrologers are coming out to say that things are going to be rewritten, especially when it comes to religion, which I kind of started doing a little dive on some of the popes, because remember I talked about there is a wall, and this wall that's there, and I couldn't figure out what the wall was. But then when I started looking at where the popes were and the assassination of JFK, and everything that was happening before that, this was I was just like, "Oh my god, this makes so much sense," because we had where Pope Pius the 12th, which was the Pope in 1953, when a lot of infiltration in the CIA was doing a lot of bullshit in the starting of the Cold War and infiltrating many different things. We also had JFK, who was Catholic, where the CIA was really getting into places, and a lot of things to do with psychological warfare was coming out, and that was in 1953. Where things about, and that's where also in the 60s more about the psychology and sociology about human development and our brain, and how we, how society can form your ideas and how you interact with others, right? Bizarre, right? And you start looking at it. That's when a 365-day study. Anyways, my brain went blank on that because that's not where I'm supposed to be talking about. So this correlation, and even with, and it's funny because Russia comes in with this too. And where Russia's always been made as the bad person, Russia's the one who's been warning for so long. And I found that interesting. Since Russia's the mother, right? The mother always tells you things, right? And we always blow off the mother. Oh, what do you know, Mom? You know nothing. you know, so it is this warning, this connection. There's this connection, and of course, with the CIA and all of these conspiracies are coming up. Where even it was exposed, and Lyme disease, which I kind of knew came from a lab. Lyme disease came from a lab. How many people have Lyme disease and have this neurological issue with it? And that's the same thing with COVID. Now they're saying they're telling the truth that COVID came from a lab. This was an experiment. So all of these experiments being done on the people, hence the exposure of more information that's coming up. That's why the carnage has to come out. That's why the light has to come in. It's like showing you, oh, you thought you're wondering where that stench was coming from. You're wondering why things look like so much shit around. This is why. This is why these things are going on. And you don't want to believe because of the formation of everything that you were told to trust. Except, I mean, I was raised in a house that was, made to really question everything and to take a look at things and really take a step back when you're looking at the government, when you're looking at the world around you. And I think that has to do because with my father, when he was part of the Social Credit Party in BC, he really saw the depths and the lies and deception of what people will do to have power. And that's why he stepped away from it. Because he said, I can't lie. I can't lie because to him, that was going against his faith and going against his God. If this is what you are wanting, you are going against everything that the divine wants to give you, which is greater. And as this is coming out and more is coming up, and I'm seeing all of these changes that are coming in, and some of these, I mean, even with the popes, I mean, the first non-Italian pope was in 1979, which was 455 years. From that point on, we ended up having a little bit of cray cray going on when it comes to the popes. But I can go back to when something was infiltrated, and I'm going to go back to just after World War II, when something was infiltrated into the Roman Catholic Church. And then the changes were Pope Paul VI and John Paul the First, who was only 33 days. He was only 30. He didn't last very long. So then you got John Paul II, which was weird that he automatically took on John Paul's name, which was weird. But anyways, John Paul II, and he was the first non-Italian pope. But the changes that was happening within the church from then have been very interesting, and going into the doctrines and the changes of the church, and the Vatican II, which happened in 1963, and how the church changed from Latin to English, and the mass, the structure of the mass basically the same, but how the mass was um, performed before the people, right? So I find that extremely interesting. And then to Pope Francis today, and for whatever reason, them keeping him alive. And he's been there since 2013 because Pope Benedict stepped aside, and he was from 2005 to 2022. And that's, they say, because he was sick, or to 2013. They say he was sick. If he was so sick, how come he lived till 2022? No, there's shit, because he was related back to everything to do with Hitler. And then we go back to the Pope Pius, because there's something to do with him and Hitler, even though that he had people right were not to be in agreement or in alignment with Hitler, but there's something to do with Hitler and the Pope there, because we know they went to the Vatican. Anyways, I digress. You guys are still here with me. Thank you. So, whew, we are, I mean, we are just in this time of craziness, of the biggest news drops that are coming down. And it is rewriting history. It is rewriting the way that we are looking at the world, the way that we are looking at the government, right? Which is absolutely fabulous. I mean, even if we have, I mean, we see the evil within the one party, the liberals, doesn't mean there's not evil in the conservative party, hugely, right? You know, it's like it's like people forget Pierre Polyette did not want to run in the conservative. He didn't want to be the leader. But all of a sudden overnight he said yes. So whatever offer was offered to him, which we won't know, you know, we could speculate the amount of money that was given to him to do that, you know, and for him to step in, and whatever deal was made for him to step in to be the leader of the opposition. There's something there. I don't, you know, and it's not like he is an outsider from politics coming in. Even with Carney, he's not an outsider to the politics. He knows about the politics. He was in the politics. Not that he was an elected member, but he was, you know, an advisor. You know, understanding how how the banks work, and how the banks are connected with the government and the spending of the government and all that kind of thing. So there is these different plays that are happening right now. And part of our power and part of the things that we can do, and I'm going to tell you guys, get out there and vote. You know, however your heart feels is the right for you, but get out there and vote. Don't sit there and think that your vote doesn't count, because the thing is that's the power of the people. That's the power. And I know many will say, well, I don't have that power, but you do. And you have to exercise that power in the ways that you can. And that's extremely important right now, is in doing that, because there is so much coming out and being uncovered, and things that are being uncovered. And people, do your homework, like do your due diligence on it, right? Um, the way our system works, of course, you have to vote for the liberal or the conservative in your area, right? And you might really love that liberal, but then your heart is for the conservatives, so you have to throw the vote over to the conservatives. So this is where due diligence and has to come into play. So anyways, enough on that part. What else is going on? Um, we have that Gazini that's coming in with the Sun and Venus this weekend, which is really has a lot to do with relationship, has a lot, and it's coming at a time where there's a lot being exposed. So there's a lot more that's going to be starting to be shown. And Venus is about our morals, it's about our values and our connections with others. So a lot to do with our morals and values are going to be coming out, and the structures of our morals and values. And it's in Aries. And being in Aries is like, what are the actions I'm going to be taking? Right? Aries is action oriented. I've got to get out there. I got to show, I got to be. And then how is that relating? And here comes Mars, and it's still offline to my family. It's Cancer, right? What is my family? What is my security? How are these morals and values relating to my family and the connections to the people I love, whether bloodline or not bloodline? So that is coming into this frequencies, into this new energies that are coming in, and being exposed, which is very interesting. Part of Heathrow Airport is still down. I find that, like, wow. One of the largest airports in the world is crippled right now. I think some flights are coming in, but not, it's not up to full capacity as yet. So I find that very interesting. So there's a lot of things coming in when it comes to flights and airports and things like that. So yeah, if you're flying anywhere, do your due diligence. What else? I think that's all I wrote so far. But it is where things are going to affect us in affect us from our pocketbook to how we interact with people, to our day-to-day lives. And this, our day-to-day lives, I mean, they've changed so much in many ways in the last few years. They're going to change even more drastically within this year. And how I ask for you to prepare for this is, and I've said it here, your connections, your family connections, your soul family connections. And what are those, who are they? How am I going to formulate them? And this is where you're going to find people moving for their family, not moving for a job, but moving for their family, and where that family bond is, and how that family bond is important. Then other things will spawn from that, will grow from that. So it's going to be very important in how our family connections are, or how people, especially when it comes to migrating and moving, and how people move, is going to be important, because it's not going to be about job. It's not going to be about, I'm going to go to this place because that's where my job is, and then no, I'm moving to this. I'm coming into here. I'm coming into this area because that's where my soul family is. That's where my family is. So I'm going to allow myself to step here to be with my family, and then things will come out from there. That's energetically, that's how the astrology is coming in. The other part about, you could tell when astrology is really, is that it's exposing both sides. It's not just saying this side, this side, this side. It's showing both sides. It's showing the disruption, the decay, on both sides, and everywhere, right? And I'm not trying to say that Russia is the greatest place of all. I'm not going to say that, because I don't believe it, but there is things that are there that you got to have an open mind about. You have to have an open mind about it, and not close your mind and say, "Ooh, Russia bad," right? It's like, okay, no, have a little bit of an open mind and take a look at everything and how everything's exposed. I know many of you are Ukrainian, or you have Ukrainian friends, so you're like pro-Ukrainian, but then you got to look at what is Ukraine. I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about the government. I'm talking about Ukraine in itself. Ukraine was part of Russia for a very long time, and then of course the revolution and everything else. But who infiltrated that revolution? Who's the one who came in? We're going to go right back to the CIA. What was their purpose? So that they can have more control, more, whatever. And what else is there? Like, Ukraine was the last front for the Nazis. So that's interesting in itself. And looking at that, they were the last, front for the Nazis. And Russia didn't want to have anything to do with the Nazis. So it's amazing how they kind of turned it around and made them the enemy. It's, in history and stuff. And same with, how did they infiltrate the church? Well, it's I mean, it's been done many times before. If you go back into history and the popes, the popes back in time, I mean, they had sons, they had daughters, they married their daughters off, they had mistresses. They weren't, um, and they were in control of a lot of the money for the longest of time in Italy, right? And they were very close to the Jews because the Jews were the part of the banking system. So, and how powerful and strong the Jews were within. So then you can go back and say, okay, well, how are the Jews powerful right now? Well, you look back into Israel and Israeli government. They're very powerful. There might be a little country with a bunch of shit going on around them, but that little country has a lot of power. Plus, that country was formed, officially formed by the British. That's why there's a prime minister, because they still recognize the crown, even though they don't recognize the crown. Interesting, because it is British land. That whole area was all taken over by the Brits. God bless the Brits. Call them colonizers, call them whatever. I think everybody fucking colonizes everything. So don't, not all Brits are bad. Not English was bad. Not everything they did was bad. But we can look at a lot of things that were bad. Same with everything else. That's why everything has to come out in a big tangled mess, so we can untangle it, so we can take a look at it, so that we can go through it and say, there's the truth. Oh, there's the truth. Oh, okay. All right. They mucked that over for that to happen. So this is why there's such an awakening and such energies and frequencies and new frequencies and changes within our biology, changes within our DNA that are coming forth, so that we are able to have that power to continue into this new age, whatever, the golden age. Interesting how that is, the golden age. So let's pull a card. What are these? Something's staring at me over here. 1 second. Oh, these ones. These ones. Oh, the energy oracle cards. I don't know if any of you have these cards. These are actually beautiful cards. Have not used them in a long time. Sandra Ann Taylor, beautiful person. Yeah, okay, that might be, no. I was thinking of going downtown today after I do some recording and just take a walk downtown. We'll see how the weather is. Looks pretty good. But I want to take a look at the bay. And because they say part of the bay, part of it's all been roped off and stuff. I don't think you can get upstairs anymore or get downstairs, because I know on the top floor is there's a lot of different activity and stuff. So the first card that comes up, oh, the sun. Oh, it's the first card. So when she's bathing in a beautiful pool, there's a lot of gold. There's a lot of gold with this. There's a lot of gold. So the first one is the sun. And it's the new beginning and creating. So the sun brings blessings to the earth. So we just had spring. The sun is coming in. Many blessings are coming in for us. The divine love pouring into your heart, the mind, the rays. See the future you want to create. So with all of this chaos, with all of this craziness, is the sun. Here's the sun. It's shining. It's giving us that light. It's giving us that these new frequencies for us to work with, for us to understand. And I feel like a lot of this light, because light, it looks like, I'm looking at the sun coming in our one window. Looks like it's coming in straight, but there's like, I feel like the rainbow kind of thing. It's this bending of light and manipulation that's coming in for us to be able to work with this, to work with these new lights. And I'm trying to think of what this is called, because one of my clients has it, where if they hear a sound, they see color. Right? Or they see a color, they hear a sound. So it's really interesting within, how the neurons are starting to work within people and the changing of how these frequency are. It's like even when you hear water running and they see blue. So in my journey club, I always said to people, what does joy look like? What color is joy? What does joy taste like? It's getting you to really work within your brain and work within these neurons. So when you think of the sun and you think of this light coming in, not only what color is it, what sound do you hear with it? What is that vibrational sound that comes in for you when you hear the word sun, when you hear the word light, right? And what does it, and I always say, what does it taste like? So getting your senses into that, into this energy and into these frequencies, because there is a strategy, but the strategy turned up reversed, and they do reversed cards in this. It's been a long time since I used this one. So strategy, it indicates a stall in the progress due to the lack of planning. So here we got to go back to the sun. The sun's giving us light. So what are we logically doing in order to plan? So it's Aries. Aries is air. Air is like, we're doing it this way. This is the way it's done, right? Air isn't like emotional and like they do carry emotion. They just don't talk about it. But air is this like, this is the way it goes. This is how I got fence being built. This is how the fence is being built. Where sometimes you got the emotions. Well, we could go this way and that way, and we could, we don't need to have our garden all in a row. Where Aries is like, no, that's not how we're doing it. So this is like really looking at, you may have found the original plans, but have hit the wall. So in this case, remember that the path of least resistance may be tempting, but rarely leads us anywhere. So this isn't the path of least resistance. What this is, this is getting us to say there's work for us to do. So if you're trying to escape the work, if you're just trying to lull around and lollygag around, then you're not going to get to where you want to go. This is a time of like, okay, we got work to do. We got shit to do. We can't just fuck around. Right? This is where all of this energy is coming back in, the ending and beginning. So this is chaotic. This is craziness that's coming in. And with that, we have the temple path. With this, you got to have your faith. You got to have the faith of it. The temple comes in. So what does that faith look like? What does that feel like? What is the temple coming into the place to give you guidance, right? This is where the spiritual purpose and support comes in. This is where the family comes in, right? Watching Cyprus. Ooh. And this is where, represents your own spiritual evolution. Having the sun is showing you the light, showing you the guidance, knowing that there is some work that we're going to be needing to do. This is bringing us back into a spiritual light, because this is a year of the divine. This is a year that you have to allow yourself to put it in God's hands. There's carnage in everything that's going on around us. God's walking through the carnage because he's saying to you, I have this pool. I have this spiritual pool for you. You can drink out of it. It's there for you. It's always there for you. It's not going anywhere. This is where our karmic path and heading in the right directions, and the choices that we make, and some of the choices that we make, and the people that we connect with are going to be important, because we want people that are going to help us and support us and question us. Like, it's not that we want an echo chamber. You don't want an echo chamber. You want people to say, what the fuck are you saying? Like, what are you talking about? What does that mean? And not to get offended when people are questioning you, because this is about your personal growth and this is about life lessons. So allowing for those life lessons to come forth. Pretty big. Beautiful cards. Love that. Love that for us. And a closing for today. So if you're wanting to join me on the next 21 days, let me know. And you'll be getting an email from me in the next couple hours, because I'm going into my recording studio, which is right here. And I'm going to be recording some meditations and stuff for people. And yeah, have a blessed one, everyone. And may the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you, and all you say and all you be and all you do. It's a crazy brand new world out there. I'm excited. Let's go forth. It's going to be turbulent, but hey, we can do this. Bye-bye.